What's going on, Pisces? Welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just amazing, Pisces, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey, because it's a general energy weekly spread. So yeah, there's that little jig there for you, Pisces. But with this weekly spread, whenever you happen to come across this video, there may be some messages in here for you. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feel, Lynn, lovely. That's a little aggressive. Just great angel around here, Pisces. Now I'm going to pull a few oracle cards from this deck here, and then we will get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? And in case of y'all were curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below some links for some other readers that I like watching, Pisces, so definitely check them out. Very intuitive group. I think you'd really enjoy them. But let's get into your first card here. Oh, interesting, Pisces. Might have a bit of a tower moment coming here, because you got the 5th card of Taurus, which is the broken base card. Ain't that the worst when there's glass spilled all over the place, Pisces? But when you, with this card, this is a card of hardship, misfortune, trial, overcome, crisis, 2 steps back, change of state, grief, fix it, opportunity, pressure, burden, destroy, adversity, accident, disappointments, and setback. And the energy that's coming through here, Pisces, is a 2 steps back. And so I'm wondering for some of you if we've been noticing that it's like whenever we seem to make some progress, is that we seem like it's like for some it feels like something is getting in the way. It's like for example, I'm just kind of thinking with sobriety is the first thing that kind of popped in my head. It's, sometimes how when it's like you've been going on like for I don't know, but maybe going on for like taking a break, going on a dry spell for a little while, just kind of recalibrating the body, the energies, things like that. And then you happen to go out with a friend, and then you just like they offer you like a drink. Yeah, you just say, I'll just have one. And then next thing you know, you're having a good time, and then there's been 2 more that have come through, and then next thing you know, you're out and in front of your I don't know, just think next you're stumbling out the bar, and it's like that. I'm almost thinking like it may not necessarily be like literally 2 steps back, but it's just like when we do something, it's just like that regret that happens afterwards, whether then this doesn't have to be just with like, alcohol or maybe like anything like that. This could be maybe with like maybe we've been working on a diet, and then we happen to get like, I don't know, or changing up how we've been eating, and then get that one food that doesn't seem to agree with us, and then we've gotten into a habit, and then it's just like, oh, I'll get on it next time, or just anything that you happen to know with that. This could be a workout routine. Maybe this is like a project that we've been wanting to start up, or maybe this is something too, maybe something we've been working on, and it doesn't seem like no matter how much we do, we just seem to always be just kind of just tower after tower after tower. And I feel like when you start noticing those repetitive cycles, Pisces, because it happens, I feel like, with whatever we're doing, more so like this is like a routine maybe for some that we've been working on. If we tend to have those setbacks, I feel that it's one of those things to just be like, oh well, that happened, and not really kind of reflect on why that happened. I feel like that's going to be like a really kind of important aspect for some if we want to further the distance that we have these setbacks. We might take 10 steps forward, and as opposed to 2 steps forward, 2 steps back, or whatever that saying is, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. We want to get it to where it's like we're taking 4, then maybe 2, and then maybe 6, and then maybe 2, and then you see that trend that's going. I feel like for some it's just like finding out what is the cause that keeps us from getting into that loop. Now, for some others, I almost feel like that if we've been maybe kind of like it almost feels like that we're trying to force ourselves into something that doesn't quite resonate with us. Maybe we're trying to do this. Maybe, for example, if this is like, I'm thinking like a relationships. Maybe we try to get into something. Maybe we give our hearts and things, and then we tend to attract the same type of people. And that's just one example that's kind of popping in my head. And if we've noticed those type of patterns, it's just like, where I'm not excusing what happened with those people. It's just like, but what is it that we did, that we missed in all of those people, that this thing keeps on happening? You know what I mean, Pisces? And or if this is like a, I'm trying to figure out how to, because this, I'm getting something with like, even like a job, or maybe even like a career type of aspect. If we notice that things, no matter what we do, let's say this is like, maybe you want to start up your own business, and we're noticing that it's just that we we start one thing, and then we have like one crisis or one fire that we have to put out, and by the time we put out that one, another one tends to pop out. And it's not to say that we're reevaluating our careers or completely scrapping that. It just might be, maybe, let's say if you're trying to be an artist, maybe you've wanted to do painting, for example, but maybe that medium doesn't seem quite to work out. So maybe you try it in a different type of way. Instead of like maybe painting, maybe we get into like doing sculpture, a different type of art. Or maybe it's like we're even working with, like, it could even be like, maybe you're not good with like a, not, I don't want to say not good, but maybe it's, instead of like trying to do, let's say we're doing, oh, I don't like, oh, Pisces, I got all these examples. But it could be even like maybe doing something like sculpture, or maybe even like woodwork, or maybe even like music, even possibly, or just kind of switching things up. It might be just kind of like going back to the drawing boards, maybe, for some. But let me see what's going on here with this two steps back. It's even kind of giving me just like a hanged man vibe, like a hanged man hermit type of vibe. Just a needing to just kind of see things from a different perspective, it feels like. But yeah, let me get these cards first. Interesting, Pisces. So you have the Princess of Disc, the Six of Cups, and then the Two of Wands here. And I feel like with the Princess of Disc here, this is an interesting way to kind of see her. I feel like with her, you see how she's like feeding her energy through here, and just got this ground lit. But it almost feels like that if we've been getting to this thing where we're not bearing any sort of life into what we're doing right now, just, it almost feels like, again, like, I'm getting an energy for some. It's like we're trying to force ourselves, or either force ourselves into something that doesn't quite fit with us. Maybe you're like maybe like an artist who wants to be a. That's interesting. Maybe you're like, I meant to say, maybe you're like a lawyer who wants to be an artist, but maybe you're an artist who wants to be a lawyer, possibly. Find a, Pisces, but or this could be where, yeah, it's this forceful energy that I feel like, it's like we're trying to make something that's ours, but it's just like it doesn't seem to quite fit who you really are, Pisces. And it feels like, kind of with the Six of Cups here, that maybe for some, maybe the reason is, it's like we're, because the Six of Cups in this deck can be like a card of pleasure, and I feel like maybe for some it's like we're kind of like denying ourselves that inner passion, maybe, and that's what is kind of setting us back, in a sense. Or or if we're just, again, if we're noticing this pattern of just like repeat, and I might need to get a little bit more on the Six of Cups, but if we're noticing this pattern of repeat, like it's just like the same type of things happening. There's a need to reflect on these sort of past decisions and the things that we've started up and wondering why they haven't quite come to fruition, and why we feel like that we're just, no matter how much energy we put into something, it doesn't seem to work. For example, Pisces, I used to, and I'm still kind of flirting with how that's kind of translating now, but I have a musical background, and I love music a lot, but it seems that life has kind of led me to this sort of realm, and it's not to say that I've abandoned what I'm doing. It's just like that I've gotten what I needed to out of that. And I remember trying to take some time and try to, I had a whole album and everything that I was trying to do, but there was that lack. And in my instance, there was this lack of drive that was there. It's just like I try to do this thing, or there'd be trying to get stuff set up, but nothing really kind of came to fruition, trying to work with people, but yeah, nothing ever quite took off. And it just like, so just took a step back and just kind of reevaluated what that meant. And then, some circumstances later, now I'm here. And I know that's a complete left turn from what I was doing, but let me get a little bit more on that, Pisces. Let me get more on the Six of Cups here, because that's the best, like, and that doesn't even quite feel like the best example, but it's, interesting. Because it might even be for some, maybe this is like a maybe even like a family legacy, possibly, where it's like we were expected to do this sort of this, I don't know, there's this like, or I do there's this idea of that, yeah, we were meant to do something, kind of follow the family lineage. Maybe we have like some family who have always served, may come from like a military family, or maybe someone was expected to do with sports or something along those lines. But the Six of Cups is clarified by the Five of Wands, the Ten of Disc, and then the Prince of Swords. And it feels like, and there is this frustration, Pisces. I feel like what's going on here, it's just like, how come we can't seem to find this stability? And it's just like we seem to just be kind of like racking our brains, and it's just like, and and you know what, maybe that's something too. It's just like, maybe it's not that this thing isn't what is meant to be done. It's just like, maybe the first time when we hit that first state of conflict, possibly, then we might just kind of, we get in our heads about it, and then we might give up too fast. Maybe you are meant to be like a musician, for example, but if you're having troubles maybe getting gigs or things, it might not be because you're not great or that you're not meant to do it. It might just be that, and keep in mind, Pisces, I don't got any Pisces placements, but it may be that again is just like how we're going about it may not be the most efficient way to use your energy here to establish that dominion, and to really get your foot in whatever this is that you're trying to do. Maybe we're doing like pottery or something, but yeah, it's very interesting, Pisces. So kind of pay attention to that. I do feel there is a need to, yeah, just kind of evaluate what's going on with there, why these things tend to happen. And this might even be too, maybe explaining these ideas to people, instead of like, if we've been in this kind of frustrated state, maybe sharing this idea with someone who might be able to kind of provide you some resources or something along those lines. But all right, Pisces, let's get some tea, and let's get another oracle on the mix. Oh, interesting, Pisces. All right, so you have the ninth card of Gemini's here, which is the Worry Beads card. And with this card, this is a card of worry, fear, anxiety, irritated, calming, soothing, bored, passing time, upset, unease, needs care, fretful, ritual, repetitive motion, de escalate, and nervous tick. And the energy that's coming through here, Pisces, is pretty strong here. Pisces is the fear. And maybe for some, there is this, we feel that just considering that the Ten of Pentacles or the Ten of Disc is here, same thing, that maybe we are really kind of thinking that if like something doesn't take off, that we're never going to achieve this goal, or that we're going to have to maybe even kind of settle for something that doesn't quite fit us. And I'm not sure, I feel that it's like there's this thing where it's like, if we think, like, let's say for example, just thinking with the Princess of Disc, maybe we feel like that we have already started a family by this certain time, or we need to be married, be thinking about having a kids, be need to get in a house, all these things, have all the career things, because of this fear of that is just like the clock is just ticking, and there's this pressure. And even kind of getting like a Nine of Swords type of energy, where it's constantly on your mind, like, am I on the right path? What is this? That stress. And I feel like it's like, and if that's resonating with you, Pisces, just, I feel like there's a moment, just take a moment and just kind of breathe for a second. And I know that can be hard, especially when we're thinking about these sort of long-term things. And am I investing, maybe even like investing in the right things, or yeah, I do feel like there's a need to kind of pull back for a second, because maybe even two. I'm just thinking with how your sign can be. It's kind of similar to Cancer in a sense. My sun sign's in Cancer. How we can kind of pick up on the energies of others as well. And you really are a very psychic sign, Pisces, and connect with the collective in a way that is on a deep sort of level. And you might even be kind of, not to say that these fears aren't your own, but they may be exacerbated by even the people that were around. And this might be something where you do need to kind of like, because I feel like your energy, whether it's like Pisces placements or 12th house placements, there's this need to kind of take a moment and kind of find yourself again, to kind of reset and to recalibrate and find out, address, where these fears, the source of these fears coming from. Why are these things? Because it could be just these other fears that are maybe even possibly setting you back too. I don't know how that sounds, but we do, as water signs, take on a lot of the energies that are around us, Pisces. So, and it's not to say that I'm am getting kind of like how the Queen of Cups is in this deck when I'm talking about this energy, because she's impressionable by the energies of the other cards that are around her. And it's just like, what do we do? I don't know, maybe, or I do. Maybe it's like it's needing to do some sort of, like, again, some sort of meditation, or maybe even kind of like getting away for a little while, then just kind of, if you can maybe take a vacation, or even just a staycation, something to just connect to source again, Pisces. But let me get some tarot on this, get some details. Because this could even be just like the pressures of other people too, maybe just like, they're just like, oh, Pisces, you need to, how come you're not further along here? Or, Pisces, I expect you to be doing this, like, and it's just like, it's just piling on here. Okay. All right, thank you. Let's see what's going on here, Pisces. All right, so you have the Eight of Discs, the Queen of Swords, and then the Hierophant here. And I do feel like that with these energies, with the Queen of Swords kind of being here, it's like, it almost feels like with the Queen of Swords here that there's a need to, because you see she's got this severed head here. She's doing a lot. But I feel like there's a need to kind of disconnect, Pisces, and to kind of like, kind of remove yourself, like, kind of, because it feels like with the Eight of Discs, it's like the gears have been turning, and we've been just sort of working and working at something, kind of like, again, kind of forcing something along here. And there's a need to kind of to pause and to Yeah, she's really giving me a sense of seeing things from a higher perspective, because sometimes the Queen of Swords too, though, she's this Libra energy, and sometimes the Queen of Swords, she can get in her head and weigh, just kind of like just sort of just like bouncing all over the place. And sometimes when we get caught in our heads like that, it can lead to this stagnancy, to where things are slowing down a little bit, but or that things just we just sort of stop. But sometimes that energy, when we're feeling that need to stop, that's where the clarity can come in. Sometimes we do need to sort of force ourselves to kind of slow down, because when we're in that panic state, then we that's when we start making these getting these step backs, and things start not falling into place. And the Hierophant is like a card of divine, like divine wisdom, in a sense. And it's like he's a conduit between the spiritual realm and the material realm. And so are you, Pisces. You're able to, being that sign of duality, the fish, to be able to swim between those two realms. I do feel like when you're able to get just kind of pause and slow the gears down a little bit, because the Hierophant in this deck, he only makes a move every 2,000 years. He's taking steps. He's real slow and very intentional with what he's doing. And not that I know we don't got 2,000 years, Pisces, but we do have a moment to just again just meditate, and to create a space for us to kind of to really think and to process. And because even just thinking about that too, your ruler Jupiter just went retrograde not too long ago, and he's retrograde in Taurus. And so that is asking yourselves, like, how are we investing in this material world, and what is, if you think very Ten of Pentacles, what's coming through with Jupiter there. So let me get a little bit more with this Hierophant. And am still getting this feeling of, just if things have been, if we've been afraid, or we've been noticing that we've just had these setbacks, maybe it's just like reaching out to someone who has this, like maybe has some wisdom for you, Pisces. Someone that we trust in, that, yeah, someone that we can trust with these things to kind of help guide us. But, all right, Pisces. So the Hierophant is clarified by the Five of Swords and the Six of Swords, and that's kind of what I feel. If we, especially, we've been feeling kind of defeated as of late. The Five of Swords can be a card, I feel like, of perspectives, and sometimes it's a dual, kind of a dual thing that I'm getting from this. It's like how I tell you at the beginning. You take what resonates with you, and you leave the rest with them. And if some have been kind of forcing this fear on you, or this their, because it could just be their anxieties and their types of things, and we just kind of, and you're just taking them on as our own. It's like finding the ones that are there, that are lifting you up, as opposed to the ones that are, that are trying to keep you in the clouds here, and keep you supported there, Pisces, keeping you achieving your higher perspective, as opposed to the ones that are just keeping you in frustration and doubt. And it's a lot going on here, Pisces. I feel like I'm talking like a million miles a minute. And I kind of feel with this, with the Six of Swords as well, that there's just a need, like maybe just a different need, or different direction, or more sort of focus, that I'm getting, that's kind of coming in there, Pisces. I'm even getting this energy, because this can be a card of traveling by water, and maybe we need to get by some water, Pisces, and just connect that way. Or if we can't necessarily find ourselves like a body of water, then maybe just finding inspiration, maybe in like a bathtub, or maybe even like the shower, or maybe even putting on some sounds, some water sounds, or some rain noises, or something to just help you get your mind clear, because this is Mercury in Aquarius, and that's a very brilliant placement. But I feel like that's one where the mind is always kind of thinking. I feel like with how dreamy and how expansive your energy can be, being both Neptune and Jupiter ruled, there can be a lot that you're kind of dealing with, and it can be, you can get lost in that vast ocean sometimes. So, whew. All right, Pisces. All right, let's get a little more tea. Maybe that's something to, Pisces. Maybe getting some tea. And let's get your last card. Thank you. Pisces, get this card here. Oh, interesting. All right, Pisces. So you got the first card of Capricorns, which is the Tools card. And with this card, this is a card of practical abilities, resources, has what it takes, application, build it, fix it, organization, help someone, task at hand, well prepared, equipment, get stuff done, and masculinity. Interesting, Pisces. So the energy that's coming through here is the masculinity. And very oddly enough, I'm kind of getting like devil vibes with this, and in the kind of like a in a toxic sort of way there, Pisces. So maybe for some, maybe it maybe not like toxic, and maybe even be it's aggressive. What I'm kind of getting with this energy. So maybe for some, and listen, again, this isn't a gender specific reading. Queen of Swords can be just as this Queen of Swords. She's very masculine. She's quite aggressive sometimes, but maybe we had someone who's been operating in a very sort of aggressive type of energy, like always just kind of in their emperor, like and expecting you to just kind of be having this on all the time. You know, like it's this bullying even type of energy here, and that might be something where maybe we had a past situation where someone had like forced us to try to do something as far as like a maybe achieving a career or it was just this like I'm getting either like this oppressive, maybe even some sort of abuse that maybe kind of went down. Maybe there was like a lot of verbal abuse that sort of went down, and it kind of got us ourselves into our head, and now we're just let me get some tarot on that, Pisces. And this might be even some too that maybe there's is a well let me get some more on this before I get into that. Oh, thank you. Interesting, Pisces. So you have the Three of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Ace of Disc, the Death card, and then the Chariot here, Pisces. And let's switch back over. Because for some, I almost feel like that I'm getting a running away type of energy here with the Chariot kind of coming through. Like, that's all I'm kind of getting with like just in that just something that just sort of popped in my head there, Pisces. And I feel that for some, maybe for some. And I'm just going off of more so with the Thoth deck, sort of like with the Eight of Cups. This can be a card of indolence, and I feel like for some that there has been this energy of maybe needing to getting into your kind of emperor energy, and sort of like maybe we've been kind of putting off some things, and out of fear of like I'm getting like for example like maybe like bills, or maybe there's been this very that's really what I'm getting there, Pisces. Just take that as it resonates. But there is, I feel like, something else, like this energy of needing of wanting to change, of wanting to let go of a situation. Maybe we've been, again, maybe there's been this sort of masculine energy, or some sort of oppressive energy that has been kind of forcing us into try to do, like to be that doctor, to be that something that doesn't resonate with us. And it's like we're trying to change this environment here with the death card. Or maybe we even feel that there is this, it's like a certain part of us is not being fulfilled, so it feels like that it's there's this death that's happening inside that, because we're not quite feeling as fulfilled, Pisces. Or and this could even be, Pisces, maybe this is something where it's like this voice that we've kind of taken on as on ourselves. We try to, how do I want to put that, it's like we're, it's just like this inner monologue that maybe has been just really kind of self-deprecating, or real, and it's just, it keeps putting you back. But it was like we're, oh, Pisces, let me get a little bit more on this Eight of Cups before we get out of here, Pisces, because there's, you know what, now that I'm kind of looking at this Eight of Cups, that's Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is in Pisces right now. And I almost feel like that for some, that maybe there's this fear of maybe kind of rising up to achieve something, because we're afraid of that when we start it, it's just going to be nothing but setbacks. Like, that's sort of what I feel like I was trying to get out earlier. But let me see what's going on here. All right, Pisces. So you have the Eight of Cups is clarified by the Ace of Wands, the Magus card, the Magician, and the Fortune card, one of your rulers, the Wheel of Fortune, Jupiter. And it feels like that this energy is trying to get you to change, like to take, to either to change something, to get out of a situation, or get out of a mindset, or pay attention to how a certain, how, where we may be feeding our energies into, how that might be keeping us stuck. How we were talking about reflecting on situations that may put us two steps back, Pisces. It's where was our heads at, or where were we thinking when things have gotten back? What caused that, so that we don't keep staying in that cycle, so then we keep attracting that sort of energy, and we can get closer to our 10 of discs, to your legacy, to your future, to that stability. But all right, Pisces. I think I'm gonna pull out of that. That was a whole lot, Pisces. I hope that made sense. But if anything resonated with you, give that thumbs up. That was and share this, Pisces. If you know someone who's either dealing with some sort of tough masculine energy, or that you notice someone who's just been kind of doing this, kind of stuck in the same old things, or maybe we're just afraid for the future, possibly, Pisces. That how things are changing, and maybe not sure how to manifest in that, Pisces. There's a lot, I feel like, going on in that. But shift gears. Because subscribe, you Hyro fans, and hit that bell button to get notified when I release videos each week. And then lastly, Pisces, let you get the highest ticket to come over to my other channel, not that you need it. But if you have any Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to the Sheridan, friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans, and it's a good old time. And all that housekeeping, it's down in the description box below. But let me get you surprise cards here so I can get you out of here, Pisces. You got the Eight of Wands here. And I feel like for some that there's this energy of maybe things have been, there's been that kind of going back to that fear, that anxiety, that it's like we've been, maybe we're not sure where direction we're going in life, and it's just been kind of feel like we've been kind of pulled all over the place, and we're not, not sure what that means. Or there are, maybe we've been getting these, because this could be a card of like news or messages, and maybe we've just been getting this, I'm almost getting like bombarded with just like, why Pisces, why aren't you doing this, or maybe aren't you doing that, or maybe this is just even stuff like, we're Five of Swords. It's just like we've taken those energies and we've internalized them in our head, and it's just become a whole big old thing, because Prince of Swords, he's the airy part of air, and he can think a lot, and just a lot of fast energy here, with the Ace of Swords. And let me get your Oracle card here so I can get you out of here, Pisces. I like that. Because that's what I feel like definitely might need to happen here. And I do like that. Syncs up with the Wheel of Fortune. Because you got the 46 card here, which is a regeneration card. And we reduce numerology. 6 plus 4 is 10. Fortune energy. And I feel this regeneration here, Pisces. I feel like that it's, if you've just been really kind of in this sort of just like intense type of heady sort of energy, or just really been kind of thinking a lot, or maybe even, because maybe even with this energy, it's like maybe we feel like for some there's this fear that we're never going to quite get back from when we've been taking these steps back, or whatever this fear may be, or we feel like that we'll never quite get back to that, or we'll never quite heal. But I feel like it's in order to really, you see how this tree here, you have this, we're assuming some sort of natural disaster happened, but this tree is growing out of that fertile land. Even with like when you think about like volcanoes, for example, some of that soil is very rich, and you can do a lot of stuff with that, Pisces. And I feel like that where there's there's gonna need some of that resilience. I feel like with that Scorpio energy coming through there, and that there's this something that you can grow from this, and learn from this. But I feel like that it's just like a need to just again kind of slow down a little bit, and maybe kind of really process what's going on here, to allow your mind and your body, your soul, to just kind of re-sync up again, to reset, and just like, okay, where am I going, what are we doing, what is the cause of all of this. So, ooh, all right, Pisces, I'm keeping you here for a long time. Like, yeah, that was an interesting one. So let me get you out of here. But you stay safe out there, Pisces, with all this energy here, because that was a whole lot. And you especially raise your vibration to the roof, because this is a lot to. Yeah, it just seems like that for some. There's a lot where we're thinking about maybe healing from. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.